Number 10. The entire Kennedy Space Center. In addition to serving as one of the 10 field centers for NASA, the Kennedy Space Center is also the main launch site for manned space flights in the United States. Due to the site's heavy historical value and the fact that many LEGO master builders were big fans of the space program, the Kennedy Space Center is chosen to be the inspiration for a large-scale LEGO project, built to celebrate the operation of the Kennedy Space Center for more than 50 years. The model was constructed at Legoland in Florida out of more than 740,000 individual LEGO bricks, which in total stand over 6 feet high. Its features include the launch pad, space shuttle, assembly hangar, and the world-famous rocket garden, a collection of decommissioned rocket bodies held in the visitor section of the Kennedy Space Center. Number 9. Huge steampunk crawling town. Steampunk has often been the theme of LEGO builds both large and small. Without intention, children often build steampunk-style creations in their playing, because the technologically themed basic LEGO pieces lend themselves more towards machine and mechanics than to electronic styles. The creator, Dave DeGabi, calls the style and design eco-punk, in an effort to draw attention to the ecological aims of the build, which are to bring some publicity to the environment in today's society. The piece, which is constructed out of numerous different sets and types of LEGOs, is completely functional. The wheelbase that the entire town sits on is fully movable and maneuverable, which demonstrates the full intent of DeGabi, which is to showcase the crawler town as a model of a possible future where the planet has been devastated by fossil fuel use. Number 8. A full-size LEGO house. When given LEGO as children, most people wind up trying to make houses or towns for their newfound toy people to live in. One person who took this to the extreme is famous British television host and one of the presenters of Top Gear, James May. James May built his LEGO house on a vineyard with the help of over 1,000 volunteers to promote his at the time upcoming show, James May Toy Stories, on the BBC. May had originally planned on giving the complete life-sized house to Legoland, but the theme park refused the building, saying that it would cost more to move the structure than it was worth. May and the volunteers used more than 3 million bricks to construct the house, including furnishings, a working sink, and a house cat. James May had been under the impression that Legoland was going to use the house in a display at their location, but was surprised the day before they were to take the house away by Legoland telling him they couldn't take the house due to the static nature of the creation. Number 7. 6-foot Tower of Mordor with the Eye of Sauron. Brickworld is an annual convention for adult fans of LEGO to showcase their creations and ideas to like-minded individuals, and is generally held in the United States. At the Brickworld convention in 2011, a man named Kevin Walter designed and created a 6-foot-tall replica of the Dark Tower of Sauron from the Lord of the Rings books and movies, including the iconic Eye of Sauron, which glows brightly at the top. This creation garnered immense attention due to its picture-perfect proportions and accurate scaling when compared to the original. This is no easy feat, and as such, this level of detail is rather uncommon, even in the professional building world. This focus on realism and accuracy made Walter's version of the tower stand out among all of its competition. Number 6. LEGO SANDCRAWLER from Star Wars. Since many of LEGO's fanbase in the modern day is composed of adults, LEGO has broadened their brick inventory to include more technical and computer-based styles of bricks. One of these expanded types of LEGO is called Technic, which is made to enable more mechanically complex creations by having different types of joints, rods, and wheels to use. Jaron Harkema and Calvin Harley are fans of both LEGO and Star Wars, and decided to combine their two passions in the creation of a sandcrawler from Star Wars Episode 4. Composed of more than 10,000 bricks and stretching an impressive 3 feet, the sandcrawler weighs in at nearly 30 pounds of bricks and mechanics. The most impressive part of the creation is that it is fully functional, capable of moving and opening just like the ones in the movies do. Number 5. Simpsons Springfield entirety in LEGO. In 2014, LEGO announced that they would be releasing LEGO minifigure versions of The Simpsons for people to build with. While many Simpsons fans built generic or bland environments and sets for these new figures to inhabit, at least one Simpsons fan chose to go all out. Matt Delanoy built the entirety of the main section of Springfield, the Simpsons' hometown, out of LEGO for the figures to occupy. By starting with only the most important and most shown buildings in the show, Delanoy was able to slowly grow the model he was creating. While it's not completely accurate to the show, since there have been thousands of buildings seen on the show, and Delanoy only has limited room to build in, it is the most accurate to individual buildings. Delanoy takes care to make each building as close to exactly accurate as possible. The result is a much more compressed version of the city that still feels like Springfield from The Simpsons. Number 4. complete recreation of Hogwarts Castle. Alice Finch is a stay-at-home mom who one day decided to recreate the castle from Harry Potter, her favorite book and film series. She prepared by viewing each movie, reading each book, and even going to England to take part in the official tour of the castle used for filming. During all of this, Miss Finch made careful and detailed notes regarding everything from wall placement to door locations, and even where specific paintings had been in relation to parts of the castle not shown in the movies. With her notes in hand, Finch and her family spent the next year building a recreation of the famous landmark castle brick by brick. After construction was finished, the brick total was well over 400,000 bricks. The final result is considered to be one of the most accurate models of Hogwarts ever made. When presented at BrickCon in 2012, it took home 2 awards and showed the world that even a film location as magical as Hogwarts could accurately be mapped. Number 3. Recreation of a Volvo XC90. Volvo is a well-known automotive company that is most famous for its exceptional safety record and general care for consumer health. They teamed up with Legoland California to create a life-size replica of a car that Volvo made, which would then be kept at Legoland's California location on permanent display in order to attract both Lego enthusiasts and fans of Volvo. After some deliberation, Legoland's master builders chose to build the 2004 make of the Volvo XC90, which has been one of the company's most popular selling models since it was introduced in 2002. In the building of the model, Legoland also changed the name of its well-known driving school for children to have the Volvo name, lending weight to its safety record. The exact number of bricks has never been publicly released, though expert estimates have placed the number at around 500,000. Number 2. United States Warship USS Missouri. Jim McDonough is a Lego creator, as well as both a fan of naval history and a reputable source for facts on the subject of naval ships and events. He's known in the Lego communities for his large-scale models of naval ships. In 2012, he began construction on a faithful 1:40 scale recreation of the USS Missouri, and finally finished in 2015. McDonough was inspired by the lasting power of the USS Missouri, the ship having fought in World War II, the Korean War, and even Operation Desert Storm. Today, she's a museum ship at Pearl Harbor, an attack that the Missouri survived. Though McDonough refuses to release the exact number of bricks he used in the creation of the ship, the dimensions are known. It sits at 4.5 feet tall, 3 feet wide, and 24.25 feet long. Though an impressive feat, McDonough was beaten by barely a week afterwards for the biggest recreation of the USS Missouri, though that one's less detailed in its interior. Number 1. A 114-foot tall tower. Many Lego structures are exact models, scale replicas, or otherwise dedicated to real-life buildings and landmarks. On the other hand, very few Lego creations have ever aimed to be landmarks or independent structures in their own right without an outside inspiration. The most notable of the second group is the world record-breaking tower constructed by Lego engineers and local fans in Budapest, Hungary. Standing at 114 feet tall, that's nearly 38 meters, the tower is the tallest Lego structure ever built, constructed out of 450,000 bricks. It uses less bricks than other Lego creations, but it sure uses them effectively. The tower was carefully designed and supported to avoid a catastrophic failure, with the peak of the tower, a Rubik's Cube built in Hungary, soaring over most other nearby buildings. This Lego creation succeeded in making its own mark outside of just being a recreation of something else.